Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to episode 2 of Grimm Tuesdays. And during this video I will be discussing the fairy tale called The Frog Prince. Now, like the Golden Goose, I made the assumption when I saw this title. I thought it was about a frog that wanted to have a fair maiden give him a kiss so he could be transformed to his original state, which was a prince. But that's kind of what I got in this story, but he doesn't ask for a kiss. But I'll cover that more in detail during this video. So this revolves around a kingdom where the ruler of this kingdom, the king, has many daughters. It doesn't specify exactly how many daughters the king has, but what it does say is that they were beautiful. That's all you get for the other daughters. But it mostly talks about a unnamed princess who is the youngest, and she is described about being very beautiful, and everyone is in awe of her beauty. And it's even said that the sun himself was enchanted by how attractive she actually was. So I thought that was a kind of a nice, quirky thing to have. And it also describes that near the kingdom there is this wooded forest area, and there is a specific tree in this wood that has this massive pond at the bottom of it, and it has a fountain in it. When it said fountain, I thought, okay, it must mean waterfall, but no, there's this rock formation in the middle of the pond with a fountain that squirts up water. And there's an illustration for this story which you can actually see what I actually mean. So the princess goes to this tree and this pond to play with her ball. It's golden in colour, and she's throwing it back and forth, and she's catching it and all that type of stuff. And she accidentally misses it and it falls into the pond. When this happens, she is very, very upset. She's crying that she's lost her ball, and the frog comes up out of the water and asks her, why are you crying? Why are you so upset? And it's not an inner monologue type of thing or telepathy. The frog actually speaks. And the princess says, oh, the reason why I'm crying is because I've lost my ball. And the frog says to her that, look, if I go down and get your ball, you have to do something for me. And what he asks in return is that he wants the princess to take him back to her castle and to basically be the frog's lover. He wants to sleep with the princess. He wants to eat at the same table from the same plate as her. He wants her to basically love him. And the princess just says, yeah, whatever. I agree to your terms. If you go and get my ball, I will be your companion. But when the frog is actually going down to get the ball, she's thinking in her mind, oh, I'm not going to take this seriously. I'm just leading him on so I can get my ball back and then go back to the castle. I'm not really going to have a romantic relationship with a frog. So when the frog gives her the ball, she grabs it and runs off. And because the frog is really small, he can't keep up with her, so she gets away. So when she's at the castle, having a massive feast with the king, the frog knocks on the door and the princess goes and sees it, and the king asks her who was at the door. And she says, oh, there's this strange frog that got my ball back, and I said that in return I would be the frog's companion and lover. But then she says to the king, pretty much anyway, that she tricked the frog and she doesn't want to do this. So the king says, no, you made a promise to this frog. You gave your word. Open the door and let the frog into my castle. So she does. The frog eats from her plate, and she even reluctantly takes the frog to her bedroom or sleeping quarters. And I'm kind of thinking that, okay, the father knows that this is a frog and he must know that this is very weird, but why is he going along with it? It's kind of strange and unusual. So I think on the first night that they are in the same bedroom as each other, the princess sees the frog as being ugly and unattractive. So she picks it up in a rage and throws it across the room, and it hits a wall and it falls to the ground. When I read this, I was thinking, no, they didn't put it in there, so I had to read it twice because it was so shocking. And when the frog is on the floor, it suddenly transforms into a handsome prince. And then the prince tells the princess about how he was cursed by a wicked witch for some unknown reason and was turned into a frog. And he also tells her that she was the only one that could have actually lured him out of the pond and could actually break the curse. It's never really fully explained about if this was accidental, if any female went to the pond, if that would actually work. But as I said at the start, the frog never asks the princess for a kiss. True love's kiss doesn't break the spell in this fairy tale. Apparently just throwing a cursed human being at a wall is enough to break the spell. You know, I don't know. She doesn't show any affection or any remorse for the frog, or any curiosity about why a frog can actually talk. Is it that common for all animals within the world of the Frog Prince to actually talk? I mean, I don't really think so, and because she doesn't really seem shocked by the fact that this reptile can actually speak. So shortly after this, the prince takes the princess into a carriage and back to his kingdom. But when he's actually on the carriage, he comes across a driver, or one of his servants, called Henry, who is so faithful to the prince, and he was even really distraught about the fact that he was turned into a frog. And he is very loyal and dedicated and kind to the prince, and he is loyal to a fault. So I thought that was a nice little thing to actually have, but it's never really explained that if the princess went voluntarily with the prince, or whether she was made against her own will to go with this prince and marry him, or whether the king forced his daughter to marry this prince, or whether the king even knew about the prince being cursed and turned into a frog. Maybe that's the reason why he let the frog into his castle in the first place. So this is a really unusual story. At first I was thinking, okay, it's going to be going down the lines of a Beauty and the Beast kind of story, where a beautiful maiden comes across a unattractive individual, and throughout time she sees past that and sees the inner beauty within that person. But no, this doesn't happen. The princess is completely shallow. She's shallower than a puddle. She is selfish, and she gives me the impression that she only gets by because of her beauty. But inside, she seems to be a very, very ugly and horrible person. And she even seems to be really selfish when she sees this frog that is clearly attracted to her, but she doesn't really let him down gently, or she just basically tries to run away and be selfish. But with that said, the frog isn't all perfect and innocent in this case, because I was thinking about it and I was thinking that, okay, this princess tricked you. She threw you across the room, probably trying to kill you, in the process of doing so. And as a result of her breaking the curse, which it doesn't really specify if she specifically could only break the curse and no one else could. And even if that is the case, why would you voluntarily want to marry that person? Despite the fact about how beautiful she is on the outside, why would you want to spend your life with someone that clearly had no interest in you whatsoever and try to harm you? It doesn't really make much sense to me. It really doesn't, guys. So the ending, I was thinking that the ending was going to be different. I was thinking that when the prince turned back, the princess was going to be in awe of him about how handsome he was, and how he was going to have like a twist on the story about how you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and you should look for inner beauty and all that type of stuff. And the princess was maybe exiled from her kingdom and looked down upon and shunned, and she turned into a ugly hag and all that stuff. But no, I thought that the Grimm brothers took the easy way out and made it a kind of a generic happily ever after ending. But despite that, I really enjoyed it, and it was a really interesting story. Yes, it wasn't what I anticipated it to actually be, but I enjoyed it nevertheless. So that's it, guys. That is my review for The Frog Prince by the Brothers Grimm. Thank you so much for watching this video. In episode 3, I will be talking about the next story in this collection, which is called The Poor Miller's Boy and the Cat. So let me know if you have read this story, The Frog Prince. Let me know what you thought about it and this video. Let me know if you are enjoying this series. I'm currently filming this video before episode 1 comes out, so not sure how well episode 1's going to be, but if you have watched episode 1 and of course this video, thank you so much. I hope this series goes well. I'm really enjoying reading these tales, even though I've only read 2. So yeah, guys, with all that out of the way, have a great day, read some awesome books, and I will see you all in my next video.